Hey y'all, Erin here. It is February 1st, so I thought I'd film a little wrap up of what I read in January. I did only read 4 books in January. That's not very many for me, as I'm sure many of you experience. The winter, it gets cold, and I live in the Pacific Northwest, so we can go a long time between getting to see sunlight. Just feeling a little bit more depressed than usual. So I may in this video talking about some of the things that I want to read this month. I may not put that kind of pressure on myself because I'm kind of just going with the flow right now. If you are the reader that can plan ahead and stay motivated, there are so many good Black readathons happening for Black History Month. I have really been enjoying kind of creeping on them without planning on participating in any way. If you do plan on participating, even if you don't plan on participating, you should definitely check some of them out, get some motivation. I am continuing with my plan of reading only authors of color for the first 6 months at least of this year. Like I said, I only read 4 books in January, but at least they were within my goals. It is Black History Month, so I do want to take a moment and say Black Lives Matter. If you have the means, maybe consider giving a donation. I am donating to a local bail fund. Yeah, just, see maybe what the needs in your area might be. And like I said, if you have the means, spreading the wealth is always good. Speaking of creeping on Black readathons or Black book clubs, I do not like to push myself into spaces like that. They are not meant for me. It is not my place to, force myself there. But I do like getting inspiration. And a woman that I have followed on Instagram for quite a while, her IG name is Glitter Moonshine, has started I don't know if she's started or is just advertising, but I think she started a Black yoga book club. And I'm sure I'm not alone in my quarantine isolation starting a yoga habit. That did happen in 2020. I've been thoroughly enjoying it, much more so than I ever thought that I would. So her book club's first book was All About Love, New Visions by Bell Hook. Sorry, I keep looking down. I took notes this time. I still don't know how to edit a video. So instead of just free form trying to remember everything, notes. Anyway, so I did read All About Love. I kind of took that recommendation. So it was originally published in 1999. Some of the language and examples are a little dated feeling. You can tell it was written before 9/11 for sure. But it was still really, really good. Nonfiction, obviously. Bell Hooks is a fantastic Black feminist author, professor, lecturer. I've read some of her work before. I always find it very inspiring and informative, and this was no exception. She really lays out why as a culture we no longer choose love, not just romantic love, but loving your neighbor, loving yourself, loving your community. And she really lays out all of the ways that our lives could be improved if we just chose love. every time that option is presented to us. She does not give a roadmap for how that might look in your life, which I think is great because, of course, love is going to look a little different for all of us. Yeah, it was a good read. It was a read that I needed in January, I think. And I'm going to keep kind of meditating on what she had to say and returning to it. I don't often like saying that a book changed my life because I think that's a sort of hyperbolic statement, but I think that this one will have a deep and lasting impact on me. And speaking of nonfiction with a deep and lasting impact, The Dark Fantastic, Race and the Imagination from Harry Potter to the Hunger Games by Ebony Elizabeth Thomas. This book, I just want to show you one. Look how beautiful that cover is. Seriously. If you are into critical theory or literary criticism at all, you should pick this book up. Even if you aren't, if you are into transmedia storytelling, YA books, Harry Potter, Hunger Games. She also covers the Vampire Diaries and the BBC's Merlin specifically, but she talks about a lot of other works that kind of fall within that genre. Don't let yourself be intimidated by the fact that it's like definitely academic writing. It's really accessible. And oh my God, she's got some smart things to say in here. Re-examining the Black characters in popular fiction, especially young adult fiction, and the messages that they're sending, not just to Black kids who aren't seeing themselves in popular culture, but to everyone who's absorbing this culture, you know, even subconsciously, that we tend to associate the dark with the monsters. Just, wow. It made me really want to actually pick up some of my favorite stories and reread them with her it's not her monster theory. Someone else came up with the monster theory and she adapted it for this. I had deep love for Harry Potter. It's not an exaggeration to say most of my life. I was 11, I think, when I started reading them. My mom actually read them out loud to me. And that love has kind of fallen off, as my friend Deidre said, since Rowling's been letting her ass hang out on Twitter. So it was fun to read a book by someone who also had deep love for Harry Potter, but I would like to apply what she has to say in here to some of Rick Riordan's books, because that's my current young adult obsession. I love Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief and the Heroes of Olympus. Magnus Chase and the Sword of Asgard is actually my favorite of his stories, but love them all. Kind of want to reread them. That obviously does not fit with my only reading people of color. So maybe I'll wait a year. We'll see. But yeah, pick this book up. It's so worthwhile. So worthwhile. I just finished it and I'm probably going to read it again this month. So yeah, 2 nonfictions this month. I already did a video about Lagoon, so I'm not gonna revisit that one. My thoughts are all in there. So the only other fiction that I read in January was Reckless by Selena Montgomery. It's the pen name of Stacey Abrams. And I have to say that I was disappointed, not in the quality of the story. It was well written, well thought out. You know, it did contain a murder mystery. The solution to, we don't really get a full solution. It does end on a little bit of a cliffhanger. There are supposed to be 3 books in the series. There are only 2 right now. Who knows if we'll actually get that 3rd one. I don't plan on reading the 2nd. It's not through really any fault of the book. I like romance books, but I lean towards paranormal romance because I don't find the insta-lust, insta-love connection believable. So I need that paranormal element to kind of like give the characters permission to behave that way, I think. And without it, to me, it's just like, wait, you've known each other for a week and you're declaring your love? No, I don't buy it. But that's a me thing, not a reflection on the quality of the book. It was a book that my Geek Girl Strong Discord, I lovingly refer to them as my geeky fitness group, picked out for us all to read. So it's maybe not a book that I would have chosen on my own. I probably wouldn't. I wanted to read something by Selena Montgomery. I don't think I personally would have picked the one about a cop and a lawyer. That's just not my bag. Yeah, the only thing that I found problematic in it, there is kind of a throwaway, almost treated like a joke. The main character, our main female character, is a lawyer for celebrities, and her firm is offered to defend a senator who murdered her husband and her husband's male lover when she finds them together, and it includes even like genital mutilation, which I just found was an unnecessary detail, and I'm not really into seeing dead queer bodies for entertainment. But again, maybe more of a me thing. That did rub me the wrong way though. But other than that detail, it was a well-written book that I just didn't like. Oh well. So that was January. So yeah, February, I do have some plans. I'm sure I'm not alone in getting into a little bit of a poetry mood after watching Amanda Gorman at the inauguration. Oh my God, that was beautiful. The whole inauguration. I cried when Kamala Harris was sworn in. So my friend Hayun sent me Homie by Danez Smith for Christmas. And now that I'm kind of in a poetry mood, and I do love poetry, it's just not something that I seek out often. I think I'm gonna be giving this a try in February, which is pretty exciting. And I am reading, ooh, I didn't write it. Oh, did I write it down? I did not write down the book that I'm currently reading. And it's another one by a Nigerian author, and there's no way I'm going to be able to pronounce her name without it in front of me. And I'm reading it as an ebook on my phone that I'm using to film this. And as previously established, I don't know how to edit videos. So I guess I'll talk about that one when I finish it. Oops. So yeah, but I'm 10% through that one. I'm curious, do you guys like to read ebooks or do you prefer physical books? Like, I definitely have a preference for the physical book, but I also have very limited bookshelf space left, and I don't get rid of books ever. Like, the last time that I got rid of books was 12 years ago, and I'm still a little bit mad at myself for doing that. So the rest of the books that I plan on reading in February are ones that I'm checking out from the library electronically, so I can't like hold them up and show them to you, but I'm planning on reading Trouble the Saints by Alea Dawn Johnson, Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor, because I liked Lagoon so much that I then immediately went and put another book on hold. And my nonfiction for February, which should actually come in the mail today but isn't here yet, is called Ace, and it is a book about asexuality. I'm really interested in reading it. After reading all about love, I'm really kind of re-examining, you know, love and romance and sex and how do they all go together. The Dark Fantastic, when it talked about Merlin, talked about how angry fans were that Arthur married Guinevere because they all read it as like a love story between Arthur and Merlin, which it was, but I think as a society we're kind of not good at distinguishing between sexual love, romantic love, friendship love, you know? So I'm kind of hoping that this book will have interesting things to say about that will kind of dovetail with everything else that I've been reading. So, happy reading, everybody. I hope that you have a good February. You know, please remember Black History Month. Try and do some good in your community this month, every month, but especially this month. And stay safe out there.